Hi, this is Mike Power, President and CEO of Silver Range Resources, and this is an update on our Stinson property. First, a quick word from our lawyers. Stinson's 38 kilometers north of Ely in White Pine County. It's east of the main carbonate-hosted gold trends in Nevada, but it is located in the emerging eastern Nevada gold trend that contains Kinsley Mountain and Long Canyon. Stinson's on the west side of the Steptoe Valley in the Egan Range, about 3 kilometers north of the Steptoe or Campbell Ranch. The area is underlain predominantly by lower plate, lower Paleozoic carbonates here, at the base of which is a small sequence of Cambrian quartzites. This whole package is intruded by the Steptoe Warm Springs Pluton. This is an Oligocene granite, which may serve as a driver for gold mineralization in the district. More on that later. If we zoom into the property, we see that it covers 2 MRDS gold showings, and it's underlain predominantly by carbonates in higher ground, but at the very base, there's this small package CZQ of Cambrian quartzite. Zooming in, we see that the property is well connected by a series of roads and trails to the county roads off to the east. The Stinson mine in the northern part of the property is located on near this small ridge, while the much more extensive workings at the Ben-Hur mine are located further south here. You'll also note there's a couple of possible drill roads in this area, in addition to trails that were constructed to access the mine workings. A little history. Prospectors moved into this area in the 1870s, and the first staking occurred in 1878 when the district was formed. In 1893, Jack Stinson made the first gold discovery in the area. This is the Stinson mine, and you can see his cabin here. A key mover and shaker in this area was William Campbell. He founded the Campbell Ranch, now known as the Steptoe Ranch, and in 1894 he discovered the Ben-Hur mine. He dragged a 5-stamp mill into his ranch, set it up using local water power, and hauled ore from the Ben-Hur mine down to the ranch to process it there. He went on to discover the Blaine Silver Mine a few miles to the northwest, and a boomtown briefly flourished there. By 1916, gold production in the district was documented at 700 ounces, almost all of it from the Ben-Hur mine. Production in the area dribbled to a halt in the 1940s, and the only recent modern exploration occurred in the early 1980s when Noranda moved into the area and worked on a number of claims. Since then, to our knowledge, it's been very quiet. The northernmost showing, the Stinson mine, is hosted in limestone and shale. This is structurally controlled mineralization. It's contained within an east-dipping shear. It consists of several veins and associated breccia zones. The mineralization is associated with quartz, limonite, and clay. You don't find sulfides. Development at the mine site consists of 2 shafts and a 300-foot lower drift. In 2016, our grab sampling returned up to 6.94 grams per ton gold, and our best chip sampling across the face of one of the shafts returned 3.8 meters at 2.57 grams. The Ben-Hur mine is a couple of kilometers south of Stinson. Mineralization here is hosted in quartzite and consists of veins and breccias within a persistent, discordant, moderately east-dipping shear. There's very high-grade gold mineralization at surface, with grabs up to 248 grams per ton being collected recently, and chip samples up to 20.6 grams per ton over 1.5 meters across exposed mineralization. At Ben-Hur, development consists of open cuts at surface and by limited underground stoping. Here's a plan map of geology and sampling results at Ben-Hur. You can see here the trace of the east dipping shear zone dips off to this way as it cuts across this hillside here. In addition to some development at surface cuts along the trace of the vein, miners drove this 55-meter long drift in to intersect the vein underground here and developed it through a series of galleries, most of which are inaccessible. Mineralization at surface along the trace of the vein is quite high, lots of samples over 5 grams per ton, with the highest grade material coming here. This is where that 248 gram per ton grab and 20.6 gram per ton chip sample were collected, and that chip sample was across exposed mineralization in a small pit. Underground, we were unable to collect samples that were quite as high grade. The best was 3.58 grams per ton, but there was 16 gram per ton material on the dump. Here's a cross-section looking north. You can see the east-dipping shear that hosts the veins in breccia. This is the location of the surface high-grade workings. Miners drove this drift to the west to intersect the shear here, and they stoped it underground in this location. They also sunk this shaft to intersect the vein at depth. Material we retrieved at the dump site here, up to 16 grams, suggests that this portion of the vein is as well mineralized as the portion at surface, and miners were encouraged to keep exploring it. Now, looking at these diagrams is great, but wouldn't it be cool to take a tour underground? Well, let's do that with exploration geologist Roger Holstein.
We're looking to the southeast. We're looking south at the quartzite wall rocks here. And now we're looking down the tunnel. Off we go. A little rustier here. Could be getting close to the big zone, and there's the gallery just up ahead in the adit. Looking northwest, coming up to an intersection here. Bunch of workings, and you can see where the light is. A brecciated vein fault structure shooting through there. The old guys were old timers were mining. Dipping to the east down here, and looking up a bit of a raise up here that they followed the structure. There it is, going up, going down again. This, yeah, it's pretty crappy. Beyond here, there's flat fault, slabby rocks, and we're not going to go any further up there. Who knows what's holding all this crap up? This stuff is really crumbly. It's really, you just touch the stuff. Sampling was done basically just by prying the loose rocks out. Look at these hangers with these fractures up there. Brittle quartzite. It's pretty much ready to come down, I think. Don't want to poke it, so we're out of here.
There might be something bigger here. This is a plot of MRDS gold showings in the neighborhood of the Stinson property. And as you can see, there's a zone of them that runs basically along the Egan Range, and they appear to be associated with the Steptoe Warm Springs pluton. This is that Oligocene granitic pluton showed you earlier. Maybe there's something more going on here than just what we see down at Stinson and Ben Hur. The aeromagnetic data support that. Look at the relationship between these gold showings and the edge of the aeromagnetic anomaly that's associated with the Steptoe Warm Springs pluton. That's shown in this shaded area here, and there's some outliers over here. Might it not be possible that this pluton here is driving the gold mineralization in this district? Here's a target model for all you geologists out there. We think mineralization in the district might be driven by the Steptoe Warm Springs pluton, and in addition to the veins and breccias you find at surface, there might be deeper, larger breccias or carbonate replacement style mineralization in the overlying Paleozoic carbonates. Thus, what we're seeing at Stinson and Ben Hur might be just indications of a larger mineralized system. The next steps at Stinson are a geophysical survey program to map structure and plumbing, followed by a deep drilling program to look for a large target at depth. We consider the high gold grades at surface to be smoke from a nearby fire. This is a target we definitely want to follow up on, so stay tuned.